All right. Hello, everybody. Kim O'Neill here. We are here with another book excerpt reading. And I want to first say, so I'll start off actually. We're doing an excerpt today from the book A Path to Love, Forgiveness, and Transformation by Judi Miller, with the foreword by Marcy Shimoff. And this is a book that was I received a couple of years ago when I interviewed Judi Miller on the Every Day is a New Day podcast. And I absolutely loved the interview. And I knew that there would come a time when we would do this book in one of these book reading videos. I just didn't know when the day would be. And I'm so glad it's today because it's just, it's so beautiful when things flow together, right? Okay, before I get into this, I do want to say make a quick announcement about the Abraham Hicks book readings that we have been doing. Those have been, I have stopped those. I will not be doing any more. I won't get into it, but basically it became a legal issue, surprisingly, right? So anyway, my apologies to anybody that may have offended. My intention here is always only to ever share positivity and empowering messages, uplifting messages, things of that nature. And I'm actually really big on making sure that credit is always given to the right people. So I think I've done that plenty in all of these conversations that we've done. And if I've ever stepped over bounds, my apologies, because that is never, ever my intention. So with that said, those have all been removed. We will not be continuing with the Abraham Hicks books. And I know you all love those so much. But hopefully you will see where you can purchase the books that I do in these. And as with this one, I will go ahead and be putting a link down in the comments of where you can purchase this book. And I think this is also, a nice way to also celebrate the authors of these books, because authoring a book is always a whole journey in itself for the author. So anyway, let's get into it. Today, I'm going to be reading an excerpt from, it's page 162. Again, so it's been a while since I've done these, right? Just randomly open up to what's the page that wants to share a message with everyone today. And it's so fitting for things that have been showing up in conversations I've had with people. And so it may be for you too. So we're going to go straight to page 162. You don't have to have read all the others. Well, let me say, I encourage you to read the rest of this book. And because I opened it up to this expert, I'm inspired to read more of the book. Always knew that I would be. But this is such a fitting message. So I love, love, love that we're able to share this. Okay, let's get into it. Diana gave me the final hands-on healing that day. Her hands felt warm, and unlike the last time, I didn't need a blanket. Everything that had felt incomplete before came full circle on the healing table as she moved from my feet to my crown. I had an overwhelming sense of wholeness and finality. Spencer slept through the entire proceeding. I had come to see him as a kindred spirit. He was always deeply connected to the energy between me and Diana, or perhaps all the energy in the room. We weren't in there alone. We were always accompanied by something greater. I settled into the yellow recliner, spine straight. Diana was composed in her office chair as ever, though her eyes were heavy with emotion. "You said you wanted to offer me a prayer," she said, her pitch rising on the final word to make it a question. "Yes, I want to do John Newton's forgiveness prayer together." I think she was surprised by that. "Why? Why do you want to do this prayer?" I didn't quite know how to answer. "I just think it will be good to clear any charge that might still be lingering," I said slowly. "Is there a charge for you?" she asked. We had both used the word charge, but I knew what we meant. Was I upset by my revelation? Did I hold a grudge against her, or did I feel a betrayal, anger, or fear? Both of us had the same concern about the other. Could we continue to send each other love despite all that had happened, or was it just too muddled now? I took a breath before answering. I wanted to be in my absolute highest truth. Eyes closed, I felt into my whole body, my whole being. I released a long, slow exhale and opened my eyes. For me? No. She looked at me quizzically, as if it was an answer she didn't expect. Then she said something surprising. Nothing upsets you. Her pitch didn't rise this time. It wasn't a question. It wasn't a judgment either. It was a simple observation. Nothing upsets you. There was something else in it, though, which is hard for me to describe even today. If I had to pick a single word, I would say it was awe. As always, she believed me. She knew I was telling the truth and that there was no charge. I was showing up, open, understanding, loving, and compassionate. I was bringing my highest self. I was experiencing the emotion of it without creating a story. And because of that, any charge that might have formed was rendered obsolete. I know you were afraid to share this with me, she said. Again, it wasn't a question. She was right. Sharing had not been easy. Why was that? She went on. Was it because you thought that by sharing it, you would hurt me? This time I didn't hesitate. Yes, I answered. And I'm sorry. Diana's eyes burned like fire, her piercing gaze landing right in my heart. There's nothing to be sorry for, she said. After a moment, she repeated it again, more slowly this time. There's nothing to be sorry for, Judi. Nothing at all. I took a moment to let it really sink in before responding. I'm so glad to hear it, I finally answered. And I need you to know that though we're going to do this forgiveness prayer together, I don't have anything to forgive. I understand forgiveness in a whole new way now. As I understand it, we are never condemned in the Creator's eyes because we are unconditionally loved. I don't need to forgive you because I never created a story or blamed you. I just let the sensations move through me without labels or judgments. So please understand this prayer isn't even about you and me. It will clear any blocks that anyone has around this, anywhere in either of our lineages. She seemed relieved, and I could relate. Each of us had harbored some level of concern that the other might be hurt by the revelation. I watched as she accepted my words into her heart. She was the one who had come to teach me about forgiveness. She was the angel of light from Neale Donald Walsh's book, who had pretended so hard to be what she was not, so that she, who had pretended so hard to be what she was not, that she needed this lifetime to heal it. With that, I knew it was time for the forgiveness prayer. First, I closed my eyes and said John's prayer in silence from memory. Then I recited it out aloud. Infinite Creator, all that you are, ... Please and thank you, please and thank you, please and thank you. What I love about this excerpt, again, this is from the book Perfect, A Path to Love, Forgiveness, and Transformation, is because there's this full circle aspect to it. And earlier this morning, I did an interview on Carrie Hummingbird's podcast, Soul Nectar, the Soul Nectar Show. And it very much also had this kind of full circle aspect to it, about how we're all in process, and the stories we tell ourselves, they impact how we feel about ourselves and how we see the world, and of course how we see other people, and it's all a process. And there can be this perception that as you're in process with anything, that you are expected to be perfect, right? To go from where you don't want to be to all the way to where you do want to be, right? But there are a lot of nuances and little phases and stages and experiences and moments of transformation that often tend to take place that get you from point A to point B, right? Point A to point B isn't like that. We start the journey when we set the intention to heal, to move forward, to transform, move beyond. But then there are all these little things that tend to take place in the middle of the journey. And then for those that don't know, she referenced a Neale Donald Walsh's book, which I have a feeling is The Little Soul in the Sun, which if you are not familiar, I actually did a full book reading of that book as well. So hopefully that's okay. That's an amazing book and I absolutely love it. And so if you want to tap into that book and experience that. That's just a 20-minute video here on YouTube, in my book reading playlist. So you can take a look at that. But anyway, that was just freaking beautiful. And I was debating, like, Judi also includes the forgiveness prayer in here. And I was debating, should I go ahead and read that? Maybe I'll do that for another time. I think I'm going to let it just sit with the excerpt that I just read. Just being such a beautiful example of, again, I think, if you were with me and for this whole reading, you still get the essence of what's being shared here. We know how when we experience something that is unpleasant with someone, something that, may start off with feeling like, okay, I'm going to have to forgive this person, right? As you're on that journey to healing and still living your life and also processing the stuff that has happened in your past, there are moments of being triggered because you still have a charge around something that happened in the past, whatever it may be, whatever the painful situation is, whatever the angering situation was, right? All the beliefs and everything and the emotions, everything you have around that, other things can take place in your life that are a trigger because you have a charge on the original situation. And when we are able to start to dive deep and go, wait a second, okay, what happened there? What are the stories that I told about that? What was the deeper meaning of that for me? Why did that impact me so much? What are the underlying beliefs that created the situation in the first place? And when we're able to dive into those things and start to clear them out, we release that charge. We transform, we transmute that energy around what took place. And that's what opens up the pathway for us to continue to move forward and have that new day experience. Be even more empowered as we move forward. And so I just absolutely freaking love that. And I love trees. So of course I love that there's a tree on the cover of this book. And for those who are with me live while I'm recording this on YouTube, I was like, am I going to do this live or am I going to do this pre-recorded? And for some reason, it felt like I was supposed to do it live. So here I am doing it live. This will go out as a podcast replay on the Everyday is a New Day show as well. But anyway, I thank all those who are with me live today or if you're on the replay, however you come to this conversation. So glad to have you here. I'm now going to move into pulling some cards. I know last time I did one of these, I did that as a separate episode. I don't feel like doing that today, so I'm not going to. We're going to start with the Everyday is a New Day deck. And Everyday is a New Day. And you can purchase this. So if you want to purchase this deck, I didn't think about it. I'll have to put a link to that in the description of the video. But let's give it a quick shuffle. What message wants to come through to just further expand on the message that came through the book about forgiveness and releasing the charge? Because we can all relate to that on some level, right? Okay, let's see. What message wants to come through for everyone who views and listens to today's conversation? I love it when they pop out. And there we go, right on cue. Oh, I love this. You are light. You were born with permission to be your most radiant, light-filled self. And look at that. That's card number 23. And of course, this video is being recorded in the year 2023. You are light. And this is also a reflection of the end of the excerpt where Judi acknowledged that the other person in her situation is also a beam of light. Even those people who we feel hurt by, have frustrations by, they are also light, just like you. And I will go ahead and reference a little bit more about the Neale Donald Walsch book. So if you're not familiar with that book, it's essentially about how we're all beings of light and we come into each other's lives, some of us with our light dimmed, so to speak, so that the other person can help to learn a lesson, learn whatever it is that they came into this lifetime wanting to learn. And I'll leave it there. I'm loving these messages. Okay, let's move into pulling a card from Brendan Burchard's The Motivation Manifesto deck. Let's see what added message wants to come through today. And I invite you to, if you're resonating with today's conversation in whatever capacity, you may want to just pause, take a moment, and take a slow, deep breath. Every day is a new day. Every moment is a new moment. And this is an opportunity for you to simply receive those guidance and the guidance and messages that are here to serve you in whatever capacity in this moment. And I always love to say, take what resonates, leave what does not. What I love about these videos and these conversations is that it's also a way for you to begin to hone tuning into your intuition and what you're feeling. If there's a certain message or something that gets said in this conversation, you get to choose, does this resonate with me or not? And then applaud yourself. Every time you acknowledge, you know what? This does resonate with me. Good job seeing that, feeling that. Or, you know what? This may have resonated with me, 2 months ago, but not today. That aspect of Kim's message, that wasn't for me in this moment. Good job. Good job identifying what really resonates with you and what doesn't. Okay, let's see what message wants to come through this deck for you, you beautiful being of light. Ooh. Oh, okay, I'm going to trust it. I think it's just the top card here. There's lots of messages. We had a few cards that just fell out. So let's see. This says, let us believe faithfully that our dreams are worthy of any struggle and that it is our time to free ourselves and rise to glory. I freaking love this. Let us believe faithfully that our dreams are worthy of any struggle and that it is our time to free ourselves and rise to glory. So feel free to take a snapshot of that if you want to capture that and be able to look at it again later. Let's look at this one. Let us believe faithfully that our dreams are worthy of any struggle. So what is that saying? That's saying, this came up also in today's conversation with Carrie. If you're resonating with this conversation, you may want to check out that interview when it comes out. Okay, so it's saying, when challenges arise, when you are moving in the direction of what you desire and challenges arise, that's an opportunity for you to discern, am I on the right path or not? And the more you're aligned and connected with what you're passionate about, why you're doing what you're doing, that's going to be able to support you in moving through challenges and adversity. Now, there's sometimes we take strides in a direction and there can be certain things that come along our path, challenges, that help us to course correct, right? Because maybe we weren't quite on the right path. And then there are other times where you may be doing something that you're like, I know I'm supposed to be doing this. I love doing this. Why am I encountering these challenges? Because those can also be part of the process of you further honing your skills, of you going deeper into better understanding what it is that you're doing and why you're doing it and who you're doing it for, right? As we continue down any journey, we begin to go deeper and deeper into, oh, this is what this is really about. We can only, we only see like the next step in front of us anytime that we're choosing to do something, right? So you may say, okay, yeah, I want to move into this career because that sounds really fun and I'll be able to help people, or it'll allow me to use certain skills. Great. That's the piece that you can see at that moment in time. And then once you get into the job, you realize, oh my gosh, there are people who are, dealing with certain challenges that I wasn't aware of. And because I'm now in this position, I can actually help in an even deeper way that I hadn't seen before, right? And so then you begin to work with those people and serve them in a deeper way because you now are in the position and you have access to more resources that you didn't have before. And then maybe as you start working with those particular people even more, maybe you realize, I can actually create a resource for them. And that becomes something that gets utilized even deeper into that community. And you just keep following the trail. And it's this beautiful gift. So as you are faithfully following your path, believing in your dreams and your goals and why you feel so compelled to move in a direction, yes, you may have the challenge or the struggle that comes up, which may feel, "Oh, we don't really enjoy going through challenging times," right? And yet, as you stay the course, you also free yourself from the struggle. You allow yourself to move through it, beyond it, and get to that space where you get to rise to glory, right? Anytime we overcome a challenge or adversity, we get to feel more confident about ourselves. We get to know ourselves on a deeper level, because it's not necessarily about the thing or the other people or whatever it is that you want to do. It's your personal journey growing into more of who you are. So beautiful, beautiful. Okay, let's move on to, I pre-pulled decks for today's conversation. So I don't know, I'm knocking on the box. I don't typically do that. Okay, we're going to move into Cheryl Richardson's self-care cards. Oh, you know what? We're gonna do this one after we do Gary Stewart's Constellation Healing Oracle cards. Let's do this one first. So, and the reason why I wanted to do this deck, because this deck can go really deep, and it's awesome, by the way. I do recommend constellation sessions. If you haven't had one yet, you may want to check that out. And Gary Stewart is a fantastic facilitator. Okay, anyway, we're doing this deck because the excerpt that we read referenced, it somewhere in there it referenced family. Oh, you know what? It's from the prayer, actually, the prayer that I didn't share with you. Anyway, her book references challenges with family and with other people in our lives. And so let's see what else might want to come through, because there might be something here that'll speak to something that you have encountered or are currently dealing with, moving through and beyond. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what added message. I'm going to knock again. Let's see what added message wants to come through to support today's listener and viewer, moving through and beyond any and all struggles or challenges. I don't know why I keep, we're going to clear some energy there. Clear, clear, clear. Are we ready? Are we ready? Maybe that's why. Take a deep breath. Is there an aspect of you that's maybe consciously wanting to move beyond the challenges and yet feeling that anxiousness, the discomfort, not wanting to go deeper, to be able to move through it, right? And everything, we can allow things to be as complicated or as easy as we choose. And sometimes that's what we need, is a reminder to say, you know what? I'm going to allow this to be easy. I'm going to stop overthinking it. I'm going to stop getting in my own way. You know what? The anxiety that I'm feeling, the fear that's rising up, F that. F that. And I'm stronger than that. My higher power is bigger than that. I've dealt with other challenging things in my life. I can do this too, because I know it doesn't serve me to keep hanging on to the heaviness of whatever this situation is. So am I ready? Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready right now because I deserve better. And do I know what's on the other side of this? No, not necessarily. And I will be okay. And I absolutely can get through it. And I'm going to be so proud of myself after I take that next step. And I might cry through it. I might maybe throw a little fit through it, but I'm going to do it. Gosh darn it. Allow your inner warrior to come through. so that you can step into that space of readiness. I was talking about authors at the very, briefly at the very beginning of today's conversation, right? When a person writes a book, there's the act of writing the book, right? Or typing the book. I've come to learn there's a whole behind the scenes journey that takes place too. And that's so much of life, right? There's the situation that happens on the surface, and there's all the inner situation and journey that takes place within each of us individually, right? And you can be in the process of going through whatever you're going through and have one foot in and one foot out. And there are so many people who, when they're writing a book, they've got the one foot in, but because there's that inner journey that wells up, that takes place, am I really ready to put myself out there? Am I really ready to share this information with other people? Am I really ready? And sometimes people say, you know what? No, I can't do this. And they hold themselves back. And everyone gets to make decisions for themselves. So doesn't have to be a right or wrong about this. But when you can, because that extra time can serve a purpose. But when you also realize, you know what, I'm sabotaging myself and this doesn't serve me anymore. I've had time to overthink it. I've had time to feel all the emotions that are just effing getting in the way, right? And I'm ready to move forward. And so I'm going to choose to do that scary thing. Remember, fear is an illusion. It's like as soon as you choose to say, you know what, I don't care that there's a Goliath in front of me. I'm David, damn it. I hope it's okay that I said that on YouTube. Right? You stand in your power and say, hello, I am a whole warrior. I am a whole amazing being. I'm choosing to stand in my power. I've got God, the universe, my higher self, angels, whatever you want to call, behind you, in front of you, above you, all around you, surrounding you with so much strength and power and encouragement and support, because you have always been loved and guided on your journey. And so anyway, so maybe that is part of your experience as you are moving through whatever situations that you may feel that it's time for me to forgive. It's time for me to allow myself to release the whatever remains, whatever charge remains on this situation. I'm bigger than this. I'm no longer not going to allow that to have power over me. Okay, I think that's what may have been where some of this was. So are we ready? Take a breath. Release any resistance you're ready to release. It's always up to you. Always up to you. And for those who are ready, we're going to go ahead and allow the next card that wants to come through. So, and look at this. At the top, we have feelings and emotions. Feelings and emotions can feel so big that alone can be what gets in our way, prevents us from feeling ready, right? Okay, now let's see what message wants to come through. What additional message wants to come through? Okay, here we go. We have aggressor. So take a deep breath and release that one. Aggressor, and we have an eyeball. We've got some red energy. Let's see what this says. Aggressor, a person, group, or nation that attacks your body, mind, or soul. This could be parents, relatives, siblings, coworkers, bosses, or leaders. Insight. Ask yourself, who is being aggressive to me, or who am I being aggressive to and why? Ultimately, aggressors teach us lessons we likely need to learn. When we understand the lesson, we can release the aggressor's hold on us. Appreciate the strength you have that allowed you to survive it. In the family system, the victims, who seem the weakest, are actually the strongest. And I want to add, you get to feel more of that strength when you reclaim your power. Reclaim your power through making a new decision. Reclaim your power through choosing to say, and I'm moving beyond this. Yep, I learned the lesson and I choose to integrate that into my present day experience of life. You get to choose to be that warrior, right? And I tend to think of, being strong may have the initial experience of, I'm strong, I'm going to fight this, or I'm going to block off from this. And then moving beyond that moves into, I'm strong, and therefore I know it's safe for me to be open. Maybe it's reopen my heart. Maybe it's reopen in whatever capacity resonates for you. And again, only you are the one who can decide what that means and what that looks like for you. I'm going to see if there's another one. Let's see what additional message we may want to come through. Yeah, I think the conversation with Carrie Hummingbird is actually going to be a great addition to today's book reading. So you may want to, if you're following me on Instagram or Facebook, then keep an eye out for that. She said it's going to come out in a couple of weeks. So let's see. And we did one years ago, so it's not that one. I'm talking about the 2023 interview. Okay, let's see. What additional message wants to come through for everyone who listens or views today's conversation? Oh, interesting. Teenager just flipped over. Teenager. So maybe this relates to your situation in some capacity. Sending you so much love for whatever comes through. And right here we have strength. We were just talking about strength. Okay, I'm going to go, and right below that we have trauma. We're going to go one more, see if there's one more from this deck. See what I mean? This deck is pretty powerful. And now here we have middle age. Okay, so let's see. Okay, let's see. We've got the eyeball. Choosing to take a look at a situation, that can take strength. That can take a lot of strength to choose to look at something. Absolutely. Okay. One more. Is there one final message that wants to come through this deck for everybody? Oh goodness, that was a whole bunch. I don't know about that. It says generational patterns. Let's see. Is there still one more? And then we'll move on to the next deck. Now they're feeling kind of all over the place, but let's see. Is there one oh my. You know what? I think that might be it for this deck. I think so. I think that is plenty. So here's what I see is go easy on yourself. You get to take your healing process, your forgiveness process, your releasing process, one step at a time. This is not eat the whole elephant all at once. You get to go one step at a time. Feel into it, release it. Okay, so those were some really good messages from that deck. We're now going to move on to our self-care deck. Love, love, love this. And look at that, the very top one, she's a butterfly, transforming. And she's got water and rocks and roses around her. Yeah, that's what the healing process is like, is, allowing those emotions to flow, coming out of something that was hard, maybe like a rock formation formed around you, and allowing yourself to transform and blossom into that beautiful flower. And I would say this goes for men and women, however you identify. Absolutely. Let's see what self-care. Woo! Okay, one on the floor and one in my lap. We have silence. And the back says, rest your mind. Silence is good self-care. So what do we get with that? We get meditation. Hello. Yep, we got her. She's on the ground, covered in leaves. So the way I'm seeing this card right now is these are leaves of the fall, dead leaves, essentially. A past situation just fully surrounding her. She's covered in it. But she's also supported. She's fully surrounded by these trees. It looks like she's in a forest, fully supported by the wisdom of nature. That when you may be feeling weak, there's still such strength available and surrounding you. You can lean on that which is strong and fully grounded and rooted around you. And you can absolutely go out in nature to connect with that greater ease and that higher wisdom, and also take time to meditate and simply be present with your thoughts. Begin to feel that and receive that inner peace from within, listening to your body, so that one by one you can gracefully release that which is covering you. And when I say one by one, that can begin to feel like, oh my gosh, this is going to take forever to release this, right? Or forever to get beyond this, to heal this. Not necessarily. What I have found is what tends to take so long is that really long period of resistance, the really long period of avoiding things, of being closed off and blocked off from things, fighting the healing process, choosing to be so strong, I'm going to block off from it. But when we do that, we're actually then just more and more things are compiling on top of us. When we choose to release, then we begin to have more of that open space where we can be in more open flow, like shedding weight, shedding that which was covering us up, because we're allowing ourselves to be more open and in flow. Silence is good self-care. Let's see if there's one more self-care message that wants to come through. And then I've got three more. I don't know. We have achievement. I'll just share it anyway. We have achievement. And at the bottom is another butterfly. And this girl has a net. She's trying to capture butterflies in the background. Yeah. Okay. So in the background, this girl, for those who are with me on YouTube, you can see this card. For those who are on the podcast, I will describe it for you. So we've got this girl in the background. She's got a net and she's trying to capture two butterflies that are flying around. And then in the forefront of the card, we've got a big butterfly and it's right next to it. It looks like a bag. And within the bag, it looks like it's probably the moon. And the moon is representative of our inner world, that which is hidden, but also which has the capacity to be illuminated when we look within. And so she may be, chasing around. Oh, I'm going to chase the healing. I'm going to chase I'm trying to move forward. So I'm chasing all these things around, right? But actually the key is to look within. And there you go. The butterfly is sitting right there. That's where the transformation is. That's where the forward movement, the achievement of moving forward resides. The back says, chase your dreams. You may be surprised by where they lead you. So that could be a whole separate message for anybody. And that goes with what we were saying earlier, right? Let us believe faithfully that our dreams are worthy of any struggle. Is it possible that whatever you are trying to achieve is simply on the other side? Simply on the other side of you going within and healing those things that you think may be unrelated. Oh my goodness. You may be surprised where they lead you. It's just fascinating how things come full circle. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. Let's move on now we're going to add a little humor into this conversation. We're using the Rebel deck, the Oracle with Attitude. I love this deck. And so for those who are not familiar, this is where we have some some words that we're not supposed to say. So I'll have to get creative, but you'll get the gist. Let's see what message. Oh, and these messages are very direct too. So for anybody who may easily get offended, just a heads up. But it's also good when we can kind of poke fun at ourselves, right? Because we are also in the process of releasing the charge. Releasing the charge. Okay, let's see what message wants to come through. What message wants to... well, that didn't quite produce a single card. Let's see. What's one card that wants to come through right now to add to today's conversation? Woo! See that one fly up? Okay, it says, you got a feeling you just can't shake. And the back says, that little voice inside you, listen to that ish. Okay, so I'll cover up the ish word. That little voice inside you, listen to that ish. You got a feeling inside you just can't shake. And so when you take a moment and say, well, why can't I shake this? It's because there's something there. It's trying to teach you. And only you get to really decide what that is. And that can be multiple things. It might be one thing. It could be multiple things. Could simply be about teaching you how to listen to what your body is telling you. Maybe you have an inner child. We got the teenager card earlier. Maybe you have an inner child that's still trying to communicate with you. Wants you to see and hear her or him. We can have experiences of feeling like I'm not being seen, I'm not being heard, and chasing, maybe you're chasing feeling seen and heard, and yet maybe it's simply about you seeing and hearing your own self at the root of it. And so in what way can you see and hear your own self today? Comfort that inner child. We talk about it as a separate person, but it's really you, right? It's you. Bringing all of those aspects of yourself, the moon, the shadow self, allowing all aspects of yourself to be seen and heard. It's right there. We don't have to chase it down. Okay, let's move on. We're just going to stick with that one card from that deck. We've got two more decks we're going to pull from, and then we will close. We'll close today's conversation. I'm going to now move on to, we're going to do this one next. We're going to do Keepers of the Light by Kyle Gray. This is one of my newest decks, and I love this deck. Let's see what message wants to come through this deck. And as always, let me know what you're taking away from today's conversation. Let me know what aspect resonates with you, what ahas come through for you. And if there's something here you think, resonates with someone that may benefit them, then of course, please feel free to share with them. Ooh. Okay, I think there might be another one still. Let's see. Is there one more card that wants to come through for all of our amazing viewers and listeners who are doing such a great job being brave, taking the steps to move forward, to own who they are, feel into what's going on for them so they can release the charge on situations from the past and move forward into that new day experience. Okay, we have two cards, but neither of them really popped out. So that may have an added meaning to these cards. So let's see. So the first one is Kali Ma, and it says facing fear. Major spiritual changes are unfolding. This is your chance to soar. Yep, we talked earlier about rising to your glory. Major spiritual changes are unfolding. This is your chance to soar. In the card, so Kelly Ma. She has all these red flowers around her, and she's got red on her chest, and we've got that inner fire burning. And then she's also got a bunch of skulls around her, which could be reflective or representative of, say, fear, the past, death, change, right? Transformation. And so what this is also reflecting is the root chakra and doing things that support you in feeling safe and secure, reminding you that you have all that support around you, right? Major spiritual changes are unfolding. I don't know, just the reference of spiritual, okay? I want to bring in again, you have your angels, you have God, the universe, whatever you connect to, okay? To me, there's no right or wrong. What resonates for you, okay? Or maybe it's simply just, like allowing yourself to really feel like I am safe. I am fully supported. Ground your energy. Allow yourself to feel into that, your inner warrior, your warrior spirit. You can do anything. Damn it. Okay, I love it. Okay, so there's that one. And then what's the second one? We have, Radha, soul flame. Rediscover a lost part of yourself. Experience relationship harmony and healing. Okay, hello. And this is like the same, very similar, if not the same, type of being on the card. See, it's the same female, dark-haired, with the ring in her nose. And notice how when we're referencing the fear, she's surrounded by, I'm going to call this red as a reflection of the strength and power that is available to her. And then you can see there's this white light also around her, which I'm going to say is reflective of spirit always being there. And it's subtle. You may think it's not, but fear tends to have a way that feels over empowering, that, oh no, I can't feel the support that's there for me, but it is always there. Always there, even when you think it's not. And so your job is to remind yourself and tap into, that's right, I am supported, I am loved, I am being guided. And the more you can release the charge on that fear, the more you're going to be able to also sense that you have always been guided and supported and loved on your journey. And as you do that, then you move into this new day experience and notice now everything that's surrounding her. You've got this open space, like a window, right? And you've got all these different colors that are now with her. You've got the blue, which is reflective of your throat, and also your third eye, being able to see beyond. Here we can only see all this fear and the strength we're trying to tap into. And now she's open. And she even has we can see both of her hands, which are always they just kind of represent openness. Coming from job interviews, they reflect that. And she's got the green and the browns and the purples, all the flowers, the lotus flower representing transformation. It's just beautiful, 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 beautiful. Soul flame, rediscover a lost part of yourself. Here she's got all those flames within her. And now here she's been able to blossom and create. Allow other things to be created around her. This is so beautiful. I love this. When you allow yourself to forgive and release charge on a situation, you can move beyond and experience new blossoming in the world around you. Oh, and hello, I just noticed this. There's also peacocks on the upper corners of this card. Peacocks allow themselves to be seen. And what a beautiful reflection. When you are allowing yourself to be seen and heard for yourself, then you get to be seen by the world around you in new ways. That's so beautiful. Remember, you are a light. You were born with permission to be your most radiant, light-filled self. We have one more. We're not done yet. We have one more. We're going to pull an angel card. We're going to pull today from from this deck, daily guidance from your angels oracle cards. Yeah, and oh no, that's the lotus flower. I have a scent going right. Oh, but we have hibiscus. I think that's hibiscus. I have a scent going in my room right now, and it's hibiscus flower. And I think this is hibiscus flower right here. Just now noticing it. It smells great. Okay, we're going to close out with an angel card. Let's see what angel message wants to come through. Again, I thank you for being here today, being part of today's conversation. Impromptu, I know, right? And that's how I have to allow these to flow. What angel message wants to come through for everyone today? Child. We have an angel with a baby, an angel baby on her lap. That may have meaning for someone. It says, child, you care deeply about children and they readily respond to your love. All children, including your own inner child, require love, affection, and attention. We can clear and open your heart and schedule so that you can give more time and energy to the children who need you. Oh, this is so beautiful. All children are worthy of love, including your own inner child. Is it time to give your own inner child that love and nurturing that you may or may not have received as a child from those around you? Right? And that's one of those things that can really cut deep, can be a really deep wound. And remember, we talked earlier about about Neil Donald Walsh's book, which came up in Judi's book, Perfect, about how everybody is a light, and those who we feel the most wounded by can play a role in our life today with a dimmed light, because they're here to help teach us a gift. And maybe that is simply the gift of how to learn to love ourselves, how to learn to forgive others, how to learn how to not keep wounding ourselves by holding on to things of the past that are painful and that weigh us down, that slow us down, right? How to show up for ourselves, show up for our inner child so that we can be the adult that gives to ourselves and more fully wholehearted, fully embodied ways of being. So that as we give to our inner child, we can give to our own children. We can give to other beings, other children in the world. Continuing to be that light. I mean, what an achievement that is, right? What an achievement to have your own full circle moments of, you experienced your past. And now is it time to be ready to heal and release your past? Face your fear, maybe from when you were a teenager, maybe from when you were a child. Rediscover that lost part of yourself. Because there's a feeling that keeps showing up that you can't shake. And it wants to be rediscovered. So that you can be surprised and be able to move forward and chase those dreams. All those things that might feel like they're eluding you because you've got the blockages of the past, right? Maybe you're being encompassed by things that are, it's past their season. Okay, I personally thoroughly loved this message. I'm going to show now the backside of this angel card. This is the image that's on every angel card in this deck, but I want to show this to you. This is the universe. This is your angels. This is God, your higher self, literally with its hands open to you, ready to give to you always. So wanting to give to you so much abundance and love. And they're just waiting for you to open your heart to receive. And I also want to affirm you cannot get this journey wrong, because you always get to go at your own pace. But as humans, we know that our time here is finite, right? And so at what point are we going to make that decision to say, you know what? It's time to release this. It's time to forgive and move forward. You get to wear your crown. Be that light-filled being that you are. Okay, well, I thoroughly loved this. I hope you did too. Please let me know what you're taking away. If you enjoyed this, please give it a like, subscribe, share, all that kind of stuff. I appreciate that. That is always helpful. And just remember, you are being fully supported and loved and guided on your journey now and always. And the more that you release that fear and anxiety and allow yourself to be more fully present with what's going on, because it keeps showing up, it becomes easier to say, to forgive, release those charges and move forward. You're worth it. Have an amazing day, and I'll see y'all again very soon, most likely in a podcast interview. Yes, very soon. And of course, there'll be more of these book readings to come in time as well. Have an amazing day, everybody. Bye for now.